New head football coach at LCA is Tyler Meeks. He will succeed Frank Rocco, who was a state championship coach. I asked Coach Meeks to talk about his coaching philosophy and more here on the Sports Buffet podcast. Talking to Tyler Meeks, he is the new head football coach at Liberty Christian Academy. What made you want to have the job?
Yeah, it was very personal to me. I played here. I was here, graduating 2013, and then starting my coaching career after playing at Liberty. I came back and coached here for several years. I was in South Carolina for 4 years and then moved back here. So certainly is something when I decided I wanted to go into coaching. I mean, it's very quickly. It was, this is kind of what you envision when I decided to go into coaching, is someday it'd be really cool to be, the head coach of the school you went to. And then obviously here at LCA, I believe in what we stand for, and been able to have a Christ-centered program and be able to, attack football from that perspective. Is certainly not the case everywhere, but we're very blessed to be able to, have a school that keeps the main thing, and we want to do the same thing in our football program. So,
how different was it playing for Frank Rocco and then coaching with Frank Rocco?
It was definitely different. As a player, obviously, there's nobody you can respect more than Coach Rocco. The mystique and just who he is and where he's been, and certainly all the success. And how much he cares about you as a player and how important developing the whole person is. Then when you become an assistant coach, you're you get a peek behind the curtain, and you can see how things work, the detail, the amount of work that goes into it. If you're going to do it correctly, it really is a grind, and Coach Rocco just was such a great example to learn from, and you definitely got to see both sides of it, and it's pretty cool. I was actually, when he was the athletic director, was the assistant AD for a couple of years as well, and so that really kind of enhanced getting to see the behind the scenes and everything that he did for all those years. So it was awesome.
What's the biggest thing you learned from Coach Rocco to help you as Coach Meeks?
Biggest thing, a lot. I don't know what I would say the biggest thing. One thing that stands out is just that to be a Christian and to be a Christian coach does not mean that you need to be Mamby Pamby, and that's that we're practices kumbaya. You can be demanding and
not a pushover. Is kind of where we're going at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can hold a high standard and strive to be excellent and be Christian. Those things. I think sometimes people see things one way, and it really can be both together. So I think that if it's Christian, it should be better. I really believe that mentality, and Coach Rocco really personifies that in so many ways.
This may sound like a weird question, but more excited or more nervous to start, conditioning and that first game?
Yeah, I would certainly say excitement. There's always a part of you when this opportunity was first presented, it's like, oh man, do you want to be the guy following Coach Rocco? But then as a competitor, you really look at it as, what a great opportunity it is. Great players, great assistant coaches. I have so much excitement, and certainly there's going to be some nerves and there's so much work to do between now and then, though. I'll probably have some butterflies before the first game, but right now it's all excitement.
I don't want to say what's the biggest thing you've thought about that you'd be nervous about, but what's the biggest thing that you've thought about? Because to me, it's a case of where you're the guy, so people are turning to look at you now. They're not turning to look at, and you can't turn to look at Coach Rocco either.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think I wouldn't say that there's any one thing. I think the first time you go through a calendar, the first time you go through the full year as a head coach, it'll be the first time I've done each of those things, made those decisions. I don't know that there's any one thing. It's just kind of understanding that there's a lot of detail, a lot of hard work, and just embrace it and get after it and take one step at a time.
Are high school head coaches, especially here at LCA for football, more of like a CEO to where you're observing everybody else, or do you still have like that position that you coach, if that makes sense, during practice?
Yeah. I would say year to year, I think each year would look different just depending on staff. I certainly will never be hands-off for CEO. I think controlling a side of the ball at this level, I think, is something that a high school head coach almost always, in my opinion, is going to be controlling the side of the ball, likely calling it and coordinating it, and having people you trust assisting you in that. But I think that's an important thing at this level. And then, I ideally not being tied specifically to one position group, but there's going to be some moving around. But there's probably going to be a little bit of that too on one side of the ball, and then be able to be a little bit more walk around on the other.
So let me ask a behind the curtain question. This is not a super duper secret, but how do practice plans work for a head coach in terms of if you're a position coach, obviously you're coaching your position, but you normally have 10 minutes to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I mean that was something I've been fortunate to work with Coach in, that I've been doing practice scheduling already for one side of the ball, and now it'll just be for each day.
Right.
So each period is scripted out, and then each individual. So we have something called individuals. So it's each individual position group. Then we'll have group. Then we'll have team, and then there's some other periods. And then in each of those periods, it's kind of dictated. Okay, here's based on the game plan, based on maybe where we're missing some fundamentals. Here's what needs to be addressed with this position group, and that's applied to each group across the schedule. And then when we get to group and team periods, it's a little bit more. Here's game plan specifics. Here's what we're working against. Each look we're going to see. So I mean, it's all detailed in there in the plan and kind of handled that way.
So does an assistant coach have say in terms of what he wants to work on in the period? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of touched on this, but we're incredibly blessed here that we have a great staff. We've had a great staff, and everybody's continuing on, and there may be some different range of responsibilities, but for the most part, we're going to be able to kind of keep this thing rolling. And people doing the same things they've done. I think that's really important for players, understanding expectations, understanding when a coach says X, Y, and Z, this is what they mean. We're able to start ahead rather than just being square one with those things. And then, each one of our coaches, we want them to view it as they're the head coach of their group, and be very detailed, be very demanding of that group. And then certainly the coordinators and myself need to kind of make sure it all kind of fits together and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
Final question about football. I appreciate your time. I love Coach Rocco. I think he's a great person, everything, but this is also the Tyler Meeks show now. How important is it that, I hear continuity a lot, but how important is it that, hey, I'm going to run what I'm running day one,
right? And
I hate to say Coach Rocco's not here anymore, but
no doubt.
He's not.
Yeah, right. No, I think that's important. I think terminology-wise, I played in this offense, and I've coached in this offense. I played in this defense. I coached in this defense. For the most part, special teams. So, it's the language I speak. In a lot of ways, football is a language. It takes years for everybody to kind of get on the same page. That's the advantage. When it comes to continuity and all those things, I got to be myself. I can't try to be Coach Rocco or ultimately, Coach Rocco was my high school coach. He's been one of the most influential people in my life. So there's going to be a lot of me being true to myself. There's probably kids are going to hear some similar wording and those kind of things. But I can't try to be anybody I'm not, and I'm not going to spend any time doing that. Each day, got to take it each day at a time. Try to make each one of our players the best they can be, and it's going to be a fun challenge.
Appreciate it. We'll talk to you throughout the year.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.